Welcome to the Old Mecanico Show. Thank you for stopping by. We hope you stick around a little bit. What are we learning today? We're learning how to keep alive memory. Many electrical systems on the vehicle have a keep alive memory. The easiest examples are the radio stations, the setting on the clock, the memory on the seats. But what's not so obvious is the PCM. The powertrain control module needs to remember many of its settings. If we disconnect the battery, which I'm going to because I have to replace the battery, and I'm going to provide you some money-saving tips on purchasing a battery. We all like to save money. When we disconnect the battery, we're going to lose the keep alive memory on the PCM. Now, most of the time, you get away with it, and it's no big deal. But I've seen some times where the engine will not idle correctly. I've seen times where the transmission acts kind of funny, and it takes a while for it to relearn. Officially, you're supposed to drive it almost 20 minutes, and at least 5 minutes at 55 miles an hour for, like I say, for at least 5 minutes for it to relearn. When I first became aware of this relearn procedure, it was kind of funny. You mean that the engine, the vehicle, has to learn how to run? Yes, there's an official relearn procedure, and we're going to avoid it by using this 9-volt battery. I've heard of it. I've never tried it. I'm going to try it here in front of the camera today. You'll need a 9-volt battery. You'll need a connector that goes on the 9-volt battery. You're going to need a couple of jumper wires, and it's going to be very helpful to be able to have a test slide. Okay, let's get busy. This battery needs to be replaced. We noticed that by hearing the starter, it didn't sound right, and sure enough, I measured the voltage, and the voltage was low. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this little 9-volt battery to save that keep alive memory. Usually next to the battery is this electrical box, and we take the box off. Now, I have another video that explains that the 12 volts will not electrocute you, so you should not be afraid of working with 12 volts. The plastic gloves are nice to help keep everything clean, and it adds a little bit more protection. Somewhere in this electrical box is usually something that looks like this. A stud with a nut on it, because we need to find some positive, and that's where the test light comes in real handy. The 12-volt test light. I praise this tool. It's so handy in the right places. I'm going to verify what I think is positive. First, I make sure my test light works, and then I go to this connector right there. And yes, that's positive. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to hook up part of my little battery. I'm going to use the jumper wires. Now, this is where you have to be careful. I'm going to connect to that positive, and you have to be careful not to let this touch anything metal. If you let it touch metal, it's going to spark like that, and we don't want any of that. Now, that's the positive, and yes, it's important we keep the polarity correct. So I'm going to connect my positive to the red, which is the positive to the 9-volt battery. I'm halfway there. All I need now is some negative. Now, right over here, we have a ground strap, a negative ground strap, and that's where my other one is going to go. I'm going to connect my other jumper wire to the negative. There. And now I go and I connect to my other negative on the 9-volt battery. Now I look at it to make sure everything is safe. Now we're going to be working right here, and this looks like it's safe enough away from the battery. We don't want to bump this because we'll lose our keep alive memory. So now it's time to take the battery off. Here's something very important. It's always good to disconnect the negative first. Now, unfortunately, this battery, like all batteries, are labeled, but you cannot see the labeling underneath this connection. You have to shine the light in order to be able to tell that it's the negative. Why do we disconnect the negative first? Because if you accidentally touch anything around it, it's not going to spark. Now, if I came over here and I touch something metal, it's going to spark, and we don't want any sparks around the battery because it could explode. So we're going to go ahead and loosen the negative and disconnect the negative. I'm loosening the negative cable, and I'm going to help it by using a screwdriver to create a little separation. That goes a long way. Now my negative cable should come off nice and easy. Over here on the positive, now it's safe. I can touch anything accidentally and it's not going to spark. And if you've ever wondered why we do that, it's so we can avoid sparks around the battery and avoid sparks in general. I'm going to loosen the positive, and I'm going to use a little screwdriver, get in there, give me a little separation so this guy comes off nice and easy. I move it out of the way. I've loosened this guy right here, this hold down, to the point where it'll come unhooked. And let's see if I can get it out of the way. Okay, there, I got it out of the way. Now it's time to take the battery out. Okay, what do you think? Old battery, new battery. No way? Yes way. This battery is actually stronger than this one. I'm pretty sure you can see that this one is larger than this one. But anybody that knows how to rate the battery, this one has 710 CCA, cold cranking amps. This one has 730 CCA, cold cranking amps. This battery, even though it's smaller, is stronger than this battery. Now, the auto parts is very convenient, but you pay for that convenience. If you buy a battery at the auto parts, you're going to pay the most amount of money. That's where the most expensive prices are, at the auto parts. They'll install it for you most of the time if it's not too difficult, and it's very convenient to go there. I used to buy them at the auto parts, but since the price has almost doubled, then I went to the Walmart. The Walmart is a little less expensive. You can save maybe $25, $30, but I found a place to buy batteries, and I've had so much luck with it, and you get a real good opportunity to save extra amount of money. Tractor Supply. I go to Tractor Supply. Their selection may not be as large as what I would like it, and that's why I wound up with what looks like a smaller battery, and it is a smaller battery. I was attracted to this particular battery because of this little sticker over here. For some reason, they've reduced the price to less than $90. I think it's $89.99. Now, I have had a lot of good luck from batteries from Tractor Supply. I'm not trying to plug them. I'm just telling you where to save some money. And this is going to be the third time that I used a discounted battery, and I've never had any trouble with it. Now, I'm going to have to make one little adjustment. For the hold down to work correctly, I'm going to have to include a handy dandy adapter. This little adapter is going to go underneath the battery. So now the height of the battery is the same as the old one, and the hold down is going to work just fine. Don't let the size fool you. This battery is stronger than this battery. Trust me, the ratings are right there. Of course, I have to get the posts in the right position, and they are. I got the discount. I saved myself half of what it normally would cost. This battery's going to work just fine. First, the adapter. Then the battery. This one's had a handle. Helps out a whole lot. Now it's time to put the hold down. Alright, the battery's down, and I've got it secure. Now it's time to hook up the cables. And we still have to be careful of which one we hook up first. We connect the positive first. Now this one, the terminals are so clean, I don't even have to clean them. So I'm going to tighten the positive, and then I'm going to attach the negative, and we're going to find out if this 9-volt battery did what it's supposed to do. I sure hope so. Now comes the negative. There it is. Let's see if we have our radio stations. Okay, folks, let's see if that 9-volt battery worked. Wish us luck. So I'm going to turn the key on. I'm going to let the display come on. And if I still have my radio stations, that means that yes, we got it. We have my radio stations that were saved using the 9-volt battery. Saving the radio stations is a very small part, as I mentioned. Saving the clock setting, that's a very small part. The big part is saving the PCM, the powertrain control module memory. Because we made that extra little effort to save the memory for the PCM, the powertrain control module, we do not have to be concerned or worried about going through a relearn procedure. Now, usually the relearn is no big deal and the vehicle operates pretty smoothly, but I've seen it where it doesn't idle right, the transmission doesn't want to shift right, and the vehicle just doesn't operate right. Folks, thank you for sticking around. I hope you learned something. If you did, please give us that thumbs up. We really appreciate it. If you had a little fun learning, please give us a notice and make a comment. Write us a comment and I'll answer any questions you may have. And last but not least, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. We enjoy bringing these videos to you, and those subscriptions, comments, and thumbs up keep us motivated and keep these videos coming. Thanks again, folks.